Hey, 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 how y'all doing today? Oh, I'm so excited to be here with y'all today. I am going to drop some special stuff into the chat for you today. We're going to be talking about some juicy questions, y'all. It is Fireside Chat with JJ Conway. It's where I answer your money questions with what I like to think is style and grace. Y'all, I'm so excited about our questions today. Although I will say I was personally a little bit convicted about our starting question. So now what I want to do is before I get into it, I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview about who I am, who Building Wealth Together is, and then our first question right out the gate is going to be about what happens to your business when you die. If you've never thought about it before, it's kind of a morbid, but it's also very, very important that we think about what's going to happen to our business when we die, especially if we have adult children. Or if you're like me, if you have a child that's about to become legally an adult, all right. Now, technically, my line is you're not fully grown till you pay your rent and buy your own toilet paper, all right. But if you have children that are about to become young people, I shouldn't say children anymore, that are about to become 18, well, and you have a business, you're going to want to hear our discussion today. All right. So first off the gate, I have dropped into the chat on all the different platforms. Oh, it's too long, y'all. I'm sorry, it was too long. It looks like it broke it up, so I don't know if LinkedIn shows it. I don't know if YouTube or the other or Facebook, or I mean, I'm broadcasting on all these different channels. I don't know which ones show you all the comments and which ones don't. But let me give you a quick overview of what we're doing today. My name is JJ Conway, and I know, a lot of people know that I've written 13 books, working on 14 and 15 right now. A lot of people know I was the first Black to serve in the Air Force as a physicist, and really kind of, even though my paperwork says Air Force, nobody else has physicists, so I kind of like take the whole military, right? But a lot of people know me as someone who was very successful in my military career. I founded and chaired one of our highest technical communities of interest with all 17 intelligence agencies. Like, I did some stuff, y'all. But before, what a lot of people don't know about me is a lot of people don't know when I hit my low. And just when I thought it couldn't get any lower, gut punch with a divorce, gut punch with insurmountable debt, gut punch with strife and division in my family. Then I got gut punched with an accident that ended my military career. Y'all, have you ever been gut punched by something that takes away all your money, all your friends, and all of your hope for the future? That's where your girl was. And I'm so excited now to be on the other side of that valley, to done climbed up out and now be able to help people build their wealth and become financially secure. And so I'm so thankful for what I do, and I'm excited to share tonight with you. Ooh, I'm a poet and I didn't even know it, y'all. All right, no, I'm not going to bust out with any rhymes. I am not that musical. But what I am doing today is we're going to answer some money questions. And Fireside Chat is our first Thursday class. Every Thursday, we have another class. The second Thursdays is our 7-figure business building, how you can create multiple streams of income, passive income, y'all. That's what it's all about, right? Our third Thursday is all about real estate investing. Our fourth Thursday is about becoming an empowered entrepreneur. How do we become the person we want to attract and attain more naturally, the things we want to do, be, and have out of life, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about. Hey, lady, I'm so glad to see you on today, all the way from California. I'm so excited. Hey, drop a hey in there. Now, look, if y'all got a money question, because today's the first Thursday, so that's Fireside Chat. I want to answer your money questions. Now, look, ooh, y'all, I forgot to dial in the free conference call. Hold on. I'm gonna chit chat while I try to get that dialed in. Oops, with Clubhouse and all these other things, sometimes I forget sometimes I forget that I'm supposed to be doing the free conference calls. Well, we still get people who dial in on free conference call because sometimes their internet video doesn't stream well, or because the stream costs so much bandwidth. All right. So I'm gonna do the free conference call. If you are having a bandwidth issue, let me go in here and pull up my banner. I have a banner about asking your questions. I have a banner about asking your questions. Oh, nope, that's how to pay me. Well, look, y'all want to bless? Look, it says you want to bless the speakers. I'm the only speaker tonight. You want to bless me? Cash App or PayPal, Queen of Cash Flow. Okay, that's not the one I needed though. I just grabbed it because it was the big one. I thought mine was the big one. Let's see. I mean, that is mine, but wow, how many of these do I have? My Lord. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Lord, please help me to be more concise and be a blessing to your people instead of an obstacle. My goodness, I'm gonna have to edit that a little bit. I've got like 50 different banners. Okay, if you want to ask a question, scrolling across the bottom of your screen is the phone number. You can also drop a question in the chat. And then also, what I did today is I actually put the link for you to come on backstage and me to bring you up on stage so that you can be part of the broadcast. Now, depending on what channel you're watching me from, you might like to know that the minute you accept that and come on my backstage, you are automatically consenting that I can use your content on my platforms and any platforms that I'm assigned with, that we will produce this content and we might modify it in the future if you have a really juicy point or a really juicy question. Okay, fair enough. All right, so you can find that in there and you can get in there. No, I'm not the Barbie girl, but I might try to pretend I'm flattered. You might think so. All right, all right. I'm trying to call this free conference call. Clearly, I cannot multitask the way I always thought I could. You know, one time I was hanging out with a teacher friend. One time I was hanging out with a teacher friend, and she was grading papers. She was grading papers, and we're all talking, and we're like, okay, well, we're at your house, but you're grading papers. And she's like, oh, I can multitask. You know, we think we can do a lot more than we really can do. Now, look, if you're washing dishes and listening to an uplifting, elevating training that's going to help change your life, well, that's the kind of multitask I can get with. All right. But if you're typing one message and you're listening to somebody else talking, and I know Gen Z does this all the time. My son will be watching a TV show. He'll have one phone, he'll have one tablet, and he'll be talking to the family, but he ain't doing none of them things well. Okay, if you're in the next room, please forgive me. I shouldn't talk about him. Let's talk about your girl. Your girl won't do any of those things well. I will think I am, but at the end of the day, I will have missed certain kinds of details. I will have missed this. I will have missed that. Okay. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just kind of stalling because the computer, every time it reboots, it logs me out of all 120 of my tabs. I know I'm so bad, y'all. I'm so bad. It locks me out of everything that I don't remember the password, and I got to remember what the passwords are. And you can't reuse passwords. My goodness, passwords is just a hot mess. But I think I've got it figured out now. So I hope you've enjoyed that little thought. But look, if you're multitasking today, I want you to pay attention to this first question out the gate. Okay, the first question out the gate. First question out the gate. Oh, I see some good questions coming in because anybody who knows me, you've been following me for a little bit of time. I highly recommend veterans and continue to invest aggressively after they retire. So I see that we got that question in the chat. We're going to get that question too. Let's see what else y'all got for me today. Now, look, you can dial into the free conference call. Oh, wait. Let me put it in Q&A mode. Because look, when you could dial in and you call yourself multitasking, I don't want to hear about your other Zoom conference that's on my recording. So here's how we're going to do it on the free conference call. Okay. Thank you, those of you who are on free conference call. I appreciate you. If you have bandwidth issues and you can't do video and you want to ask your question live so that I can go back and forth with you, then go ahead and jump into the free conference call. You can also jump on the StreamYard, or you can drop your question in the chat. I actually like you dropping your question in the chat because then I don't have to go look for it or remember to press a button to get you on there. But there's also askjjc.com. That one is anonymous. Okay. Your voice isn't anonymous. I know this because I made a quest. I called into a radio show one time. One time in my life did I call into a radio show, like 20 years. No, it was like 9, 10 years ago. And that thing, they replay that question over and over. And I still get friends. Hey, I heard you on the radio. Are you in town? No, they just keep dusting off that question because it was a good, juicy question. All right, all right, all right. So yeah. Okay, I think we're very good. I think we're good. Okay, question. Our question starting off. Oh, one more announcement. One more announcement. Forgive me, y'all. Forgive me, y'all. I don't have my cheat sheet in front of me. One more announcement. If you are listening to me as part of the Building Wealth Together podcast, which we extract from the Thursday night classes, I want to encourage you. Or if you're listening to this after the fact, if you're watching after the fact on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, um, all the things, okay? I want to encourage you to join us live Thursday nights. This is my avenue to provide free financial coaching, generalized financial coaching. Notice I say coaching and not planning, because if you're not my established client and I don't have you on my policy, then I am not your financial planner. But I can give generalized financial questions to the best of my ability on, and we always going to have some kind of free platform, because I will never forget. I will never forget when I was that 800 something thousand dollars in debt, and I didn't have money to buy the next course. I didn't have money to buy the next book. Look, if it wasn't in the library, I wasn't getting it. But interlibrary loan is a wonderful thing. Okay. Okay. So if you're listening to me after the fact or through the podcast, I encourage you to come on out to YouTube. And if I get to draw on some graphics to help explain something, you're going to want to see those live with your eyes. So you want to go on out to YouTube and come on and be live with us Thursday nights and ask your questions live, because it's more fun that way. Okay. Question of the day. First question of the day. What happens to my business when I die? Now, this is a fantastic question. And I have actually already been doing some succession planning, because I have a child who, I gotta stop saying child. He is not a child. He is a young man. And next month, the government will consider him a fully grown man, able to go into the military and serve our country. So I gotta stop saying child. But y'all mamas know how hard it is to stop saying child when it's your child. All right. So I have a young man who gonna turn 18 next month, y'all. Can you believe it? Little Peanut is gonna be 18 next month. Oh my goodness, y'all. Hold on. I gotta show you how proud I am of this boy. Okay, I know. I said I'm gonna get to the question. I promise I'm gonna get to the question. But can y'all just give me just a little bit of grace? I'm gonna go out to he had his debut on Fly, Newbie, and Queen this week. And let me see if I can find it, if I can find him. I want to show y'all my big boy on this channel on his first, wait a second, on his first live broadcast on Fly New. Okay, let me I don't know if y'all can hear that. Okay, I'm not going to play it so much, but I just want to show you this, and then you guys can y'all can go out there. Ooh, that's that, both of us are making a face. Ooh, I don't know what we were talking about. Hold on. Hold on. Let me get back on there so I can share the screen. Let me share the screen. Let me share the screen. Hey, look, while I'm sharing the screen, if y'all do me a favor, like, subscribe. Drop me a happy face, heart face. Don't put an angry face. Unless you see this look you about to see on me and my boy's face, then you might want to put an angry face. In the world of social media, it's all good. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. So we did our very first talk about it. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that look on our faces? I don't know what we're talking about. I'm gonna play it here in a second. We'll see what we're talking about. Okay. So we're talking about Coach Prime. Oh, oh. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. So this is my son. I'm trying to get one where he's talking, y'all. Wait a second. I know, because he's just every random spot I'm clicking on, he's just sitting there. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Y'all gotta hear this. Wait, can y'all hear this? Can y'all hear him? boy. No, 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 no. Come back. Come back. Come back. Oh, what happened? Ah, I don't know what happened, but here we go. Oh yeah, y'all. That's my big boy. You can find him on Twitter at Wiggy D, y'all. That's my big boy. We're gonna be doing Talk About It Tuesdays, but we were talking about Coach Prime. We were talking about the financial impact of Coach Prime, and if that's something that's interesting to you, I didn't get to cover everything that we wanted to cover. We did all. I think we had 14 pages of research about Coach Prime and his financial impact both on Jackson State and on Colorado, and the residual impact of him being at Jackson State. Like when he moved to Colorado to coach Colorado, his impact at Jackson State didn't just poof disappear, right? There's still residual impact, right? So I was just pleased to punch. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him. I don't even know how I got on that. Oh yeah, because he's about to turn 18. So going back to this question, I have already been researching options because I'm in what's called a blended family. So my husband, he didn't have any of his own children before he married. He had a stepson, but there's no claim on that. But I do have my child from one marriage, and then I have my child from a second marriage. Okay, so we have two children, and even though if you see us as a family together, you would not know that Mr. Man is not his dad because they act so much alike, right? And they can both be the same type of goofy, right? You would think that, and they have similar mannerisms. You would think that we are all one big family, but we're not all one big family. And a few years ago, after the little one was born, I think, yeah, after the little one was born, we sat down and updated our wills, and I put the way I put my insurance was I have one policy that's going in trust, half for my young man, my 17-year-old, and then and for him, and then the other policy goes in trust for my little one. Half of that goes in trust and the other half goes to my husband. Okay, and so we talked about it beforehand, but I don't think it was really real till we sat down with the lawyers and put the thing on the paper and signed the dotted line, right? And I told my husband, I said, it's not that I don't trust you, I just don't trust your next wife should I die first, because people are funny. They're funny with the money, and I know this because as a financial planner, I get people all the time coming to me with, grandma promised me this, and now my siblings are taking it away. Mom promised me that, and now my brother and my aunties and them are getting all in the mix. This sister not talking to that brother. These people aren't doing this and that and the other. Everybody's fighting. Everybody wants this or that. And everybody thinks that there's a ton of money in the estate. And then once they find out there's no money in the estate, now nobody wants to handle it. And it's all a hot mess. And I can tell you, if you don't plan in your personal life, it's a hot mess. But if you don't plan in your business, it can also be a hot mess that erases everything that you did. So you want to make sure your hard work and your hard effort and everything that you poured into building that little business baby and bringing it to maturity, you want to make sure that it does what you set out to do. Now, we can't control everything. Okay, let's be honest. And I even warned my husband about this. He was like, "Oh yeah, well this and that is in his father's will." I said, people contest wills all the time. This is what happens with all these big all these high and wealthy entertainers. Even them, even if they have a will, which a lot don't have a will. Please, sir, please, ma'am, do not die without a will, trust, or some other way to designate a beneficiary for your stuff to pass to them. Okay. All right. But even those who had a will, when it goes through the probate process, there's a process for people to challenge the will. And guess what? They do it all the time. Which is why, as much as I do not like the reason I was taught to do this, I appreciate having been taught to do this, because this is why we spent a good 2 months out of the year of financial planning at George Mason University learning how to be a financial planner, learning how to take the wealth of the estate and ensure that the wife doesn't get it. That she gets enough to keep her happy and to ensure that the mistress gets everything else. Now, just to make sure we go clear on record, I mentioned my father-in-law and a will. That has nothing to do with no mistress or anything. Ain't nothing of that going on. But I tell you what, people's true colors show out when somebody dies and they have a little bit of money in their pocket. All right. And so, and don't y'all come after me, because y'all who don't know me, y'all would know this, but I haven't seen my father-in-law, my not racist father-in-law, since the day he found out that I was black. They were all right with me being brown skinned when they thought I was Latina, but when they found out I was black, ooh, I got blocked off of Facebook before I got home from that trip. I haven't spoken to him before he died in the 8 years that we were married, after having gone on trip after trip for 2.5 years. So don't y'all come after me looking for that man's wealth. I'm not getting any of it. All right. Okay. So the thing is, though, even if you have a will, stuff can be contested. People can put in claims, they can put in bids, they can say, no, that wasn't really supposed to go all to her. That was supposed to go to me. That was supposed to be mine. That was supposed to be mine. They can do it all the time. And a lot of times people will nickel and dime the estate by continuing to make all these nuisance things. And after a while, the executor might just decide, you know what, forget it. I want my share so bad, I'm just going to give them theirs so we can close this out. And so sometimes you really cannot control it from the grave, but there are other financial vehicles that you can use to control things from the grave. So we're going to talk about business specifically, but I just want to kind of put a little bird, not a bird. How do we say that phrase? I just want to put a little bug in your ear about the fact that if you have insurance, you need to designate some beneficiaries. Okay, not just the main person it goes to, but you need secondary and tertiary beneficiaries. So if you're gone and that person's gone, the government don't get your money. All right, the person or the charity that you want gets that money. Okay, you want to, if you have something that you really want to make sure doesn't go through the probate process, you want to sit down with a planning attorney, and you want to set you up a trust to make sure your property and certain other things go where they're supposed to go. You got accounts, they may not be a lot, but you know what? I got family members that aren't speaking over $1,200, y'all. So everybody's family member version of what's a lot is different from family to family. All right. So if you've got an account, you got a little bit of money in there, and you want to make sure it goes to the right person, get with that bank and set up a transfer on death, or add them to the account. Now, add them to the account only if you can trust them, not spend up all your money. You know, some of these kids be trifling, and I'm not trying to mess around with all that. Okay. And I've seen it. I've seen the other side of it. I've seen how the sibling who comes to me as a financial planner is upset because the other siblings are siphoning away all of mom and dad's money, all of mama's money, all of grandma's money, all of auntie's money. But let me tell you, one of the saddest things I ever saw as a financial planner. And to me, you give up your life to go take care of your mama, your daddy, your grandparent in their old age. You quit your job, you move across country, and they promise you the house, but they refuse to put it on paper because they don't want the other siblings to be mad at them. Well, I've seen over and over those people get the house taken from them. It gets sold out by the siblings, and they always find a way to cut them out of the house and the businesses. But that's sad. That's super sad. I don't want that to happen to me. Okay, I don't want that to happen to me. I've already told my boys, y'all get somebody pregnant out of wedlock, y'all go to jail. You're out of my will, because I'm not doing all of that. You want to act grown before you go to college? You can pay your own way, because I'm not doing all that. I didn't work this hard to get where I am, to waste my money on foolish and riotous living. No, not when my foremothers and forefathers worked so hard to give me an opportunity to be where I am today. All right. All right. Let me get back on topic, y'all. Woo, I'm on fire today. I hope y'all are enjoying this. If y'all are enjoying this, put it in the chat. But look, if you're not enjoying it, just give me an angry face. You don't have to put it in the chat. I don't want that written record. No, I'm being serious, y'all. I'm being serious. These are all the things that I wish I could talk about, but I never really think about it. And when I'm doing my own personal research. And so I'm so glad when the question came in today. But the saddest thing, the absolute saddest thing that really hurts me about planning for your business when you pass away is I watched somebody who helped her husband build that business from the ground up. They built that business together, and he was an abusive man, y'all. He was not a nice man. Was not a nice man to her. And when he died, she got the bulk of the business, and her children had a minority position in the business between however many of them there were. I don't remember. But what I do remember is even though she had a majority position, they refused to pay her. And they ostracized her. They ridiculed her. They were derogatory towards her. They basically wore her down so much, refusing to give her what she rightfully owned because she had helped build it up from the ground up, that she finally walked away just to have peace. And I'm glad she took the steps she needed to take to have peace. But how sad is that this money, that this business that was supposed to take care of you in your old age, now you got nothing. And I don't want that to happen to you. And some of you are watching me today, and you know fair full and well you got kids that would do the same thing to you. I am not deceived about what my son might do if I made him 51% owner of one of my companies. You know why? Because I see how he acts when he falls for some girl. He kicks mama to the curb in a heartbeat. And if he's over there listening to me, I hope this will help him change his ways. But I have seen it several times. I was like, oh, he got a girl that he's liking. And eventually it always comes out, and he will kick mama to the curb in a heartbeat for little Miss Thing. And so I see that as a parent, and I'm like, you know what the Bible says? My favorite book says the wise man sees trouble brewing and takes action. The foolish keep on going and get punished. Well, I'm not going to be sitting in my house for you waiting for me to die so you can take my house and take my stuff. That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen on my watch, because I got a million other things that money could go do. I got other people who could get scholarships and other things. I am not saying my son did this, but I remember somebody else who was getting beat. And this was before elder abuse was a crime. They were getting beat by their son, and their son was basically like, just hurry up and die, old lady, so I can take this house. And I don't want that to be you. And I know you don't want that to be you. But sometimes we feel like we are powerless to do anything about it. We're in the situation. We've given so much. We don't even have any more energy to give. And now this. So what does this mean for you as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, or as somebody who has a little something in your pocket? I'm saying take the steps now. I know you don't like to think about death, but take the steps now to make sure that the people who get your estate are the ones you want to get your estate. That if you want to leave your property to a charity, maybe you don't just use a will to do that if you got trifling people in your family. And you know what? We all got trifling people in our family. And guess what? You may not think you have trifling people in your family, but you watch what happens the next time somebody dies, and you will find out just how trifling a lot of your family members are. Okay? Now also, you will find that there were family members that will pop out of the woodworks. Thinking you got something even if you didn't have anything. So there are other financial vehicles. And when you have a business, this is also important, okay? It's very important. Now, I got to say this caveat. I am not a lawyer. I don't even pretend to be one, okay? I don't pretend to be one. But each state has different laws regarding who gets what. Okay, so in some states, whatever the husband and wife have that comes from the marriage, it's the marital joint property. Okay, so I have companies in other states because I started companies in other states because I was in the military, and I started a company here, and then I started a company there, and I started a company there. It's like, I know my accountant must be like, are you going to ever close down these companies, these other mailboxes and stuff, because you're not really doing much with them? Well, y'all, Now that my son's about to be 18, what I'm going to do with some of those things is becoming more apparent, because I want to make sure that the things that I had, that he gets some of it. And like I said, it's not that I don't trust my husband, it's that I don't trust whoever he's going to marry if I die first, okay? And so anything that was mine before the marriage is still mine. Anything that was his before the marriage is still his. Anything we acquired together, such as Conway Financial Group LLC, which was established in Texas in 2020, that was established after the marriage. So Conway Financial Group LLC becomes a multi-million-dollar international business the way I want it to be. Guess what? Chris Conway always gonna have claim to Conway Financial Group LLC, at least his share of my share. Okay, so when I die, if my operating documents don't specify somebody else gets the business, then he gets my share. And if there's nobody else in the business, he gets the business. Now there are other states that you might live in, and I can't remember them all off the top of my head, so I'm not even going to try and pretend, because I've lived in so many different states, y'all. I've had like 24 different addresses, y'all. I, whenever I go to unfreeze or freeze my credit, they're like, does this address look familiar? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Some states you live in, what's yours before the marriage is yours. What's your spouse's before the marriage is theirs. And what you have during the marriage depends on how you title it when you acquire it. So if you bought the property in your name, it could go to your spouse or it might not. If you built the business in your name, it could go to your spouse, it might not. It depends on state law. And more states are enacting laws that provide the surviving spouse to get the ownership percentage of the spouse that passed away. Okay, and so you want to understand the laws of where you live, the state in which you live. Okay, because I cannot pass more than 50% of Conway Financial Group to my kids. Now, I want y'all to hear me that real quickly. In the state of Texas, because we established it after the marriage, because my name was Conway when we created Conway Financial Group. Like I can't even look, y'all. I have some other companies that were created right on about the time that we got married. Like I could probably get in there and make a good argument that that's not his, but I can't argue Conway Financial Group because my name wasn't Conway, but until I married Chris Conway. Right? So I wouldn't be able to wiggle out of that one. All right. But in the state of Texas, if I was a sole proprietorship, it's all to him. Okay. If I'm an LLC, it goes according to my documentation. So I have to make sure my documentation specifies who takes over the company if I pass away. If my operating documents do not include some kind of succession plan, then it goes according to state law, which means he gets my share. At the very least, my children could contest, because my sons broadcast with me. My children could contest that, and they could possibly get a third to my husband, a third to him, a third to the other son, right? And again, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. It's just one mama's understanding of what she kind of knows a little bit about talking to people about her situation. This may not apply to your situation. I am not a lawyer. I don't play one on TV. You are advised to seek your own counsel. All right. And usually the quote, seeking your own counsel, means paying somebody to give you good advice. All right. All right. So, and you're not paying me today. So this is my advice for my situation. But what I want to impress upon you is you have to do the planning now. So if you have a multiple member LLCs, okay, so let's say you've got a 3-member LLC, okay, and your operating documents don't specify who's what owner, then it's split evenly. Normally in that situation, I would recommend that you have somebody have the greater lion's share, because at the end of the day, when you've got issues, somebody's got to make a decision, right? But see, maybe you're like me. When I first started out, I'm like, oh, we're all investing in real estate together. Let's all group together, pull our money together, and we're all going to make an LLC and we're all going to get rich. Yeah, let me know how that works out for you. Probably don't work out any better. Sale is a partnership. Now I do occasionally do joint ventures, and where we have a where I'll bring in limited partners, but they're limited for a reason, because at the end of the day, I'm going to be that majority owner. When the decision has to be made, I'm going to hear everybody's opinion, but at the end of the day, I'm going to make the decision. We're going to salute smartly and we're going to roll on. All right. And so if I don't have operating documents that specify that every one of those LLC members gets their share. Now, what happens if it's you and two buddies from college, or you and two colleagues you met at a conference? Y'all aren't related. Y'all don't really have a relationship like that, but the business is thriving. Okay. Well, there's a couple things that you can do, and they usually involve insurance policies. So there are insurance policies. And for those of you who are deeply detailed in financial analysis, please understand that I am putting the cookies on the bottom shelf today. I am not using all the big terms, and I'm not going to confuse people with all that stuff. I'm just giving everybody a basic understanding that they can go into their CPA, or they can go into their financial planner, or better yet, they can go into their estate planning attorney, and they can ask the questions. Okay. So if you know this stuff deep down in your soul, and you're like, wow, she is really just hitting the wave tops, she's missing a whole lot. Yes, I'm purposely missing a whole lot, because for a lot of my audience today, these are new concepts, and I don't want to overwhelm them with something that doesn't have to be that complicated. It really doesn't have to be that complicated. Okay. So if you have a multiple members of people in your business who are in charge of your business, there are different kinds of insurance policies that you can have over you and the other people on your board to make sure that the business rolls on. One of those kinds of insurance policies basically allows everybody else to buy out your share. So the business rolls on without you, and the insurance policy basically pays off your heirs for your part of the business. Okay? That's one thing that can happen. And what you would do is that you take those policies on each person in the business, so that they can make sure that they have a plan for the business to keep rolling on. Okay. And so that's the kind of thing you can do to make sure the business rolls on, if your family is not wanting to step up and be involved in it. Now, if your family is wanting to step up and be involved in your business, and you're worried about other people taking your business from you, well, that's when you're going to want to look into things like trusts, and you're going to want to make sure that those operating documents are absolutely secure. And guess what? Guess what, y'all? A lot of us, we start off with a dream. We start off with a dream and an idea, and we don't know what's going to happen, but we know that we feel called to change the world, and we grab some people together and we go out and do that thing, and all of a sudden we're making all this money, and it's like, bro, I got to put some policies in place. Now, if that's you and you're in that situation, I'm going to encourage you to take that strategic pause and start putting some of this planning into place before it escapes you. But do not run a business without putting some kind of succession plan in play. Let me say that again. Do not run a business without putting some kind of succession plan in play. All right. So I've brought my son into my broadcasts on Tuesdays. We've created a whole new show, Talk About It Tuesdays. We're going to give it a few months to see how he's doing. I think he's amazing on camera. I think he's got amazing analysis. I think he's got a great head on his shoulders. He's a good looking young man, and he's got a nice demeanor about him. You know what I mean? Like I have to work at being a nice person. No, I am a nice person. I have to work at being the kind of person you want to come and talk to. I'm not the kind of person you just want to come and talk to most of the time, because I'm busy. I want to get stuff done. But he also wants to get stuff done, but he knows how to entreat, and he knows how to encourage and uplift you in a way that is natural to him, what I've had to learn. Does that make sense today? And so I want to see how it goes. If it goes well, I'm going to bring him in once he is legal of age, bring him into the company. And then then we document the succession plan. Now, it may well be, and a lot of people find this out, they built that company from the ground up. They bought this portfolio of real estate properties. They did XYZ amazing thing, considering the time and generations in which we live and lived when we were younger. And they did this amazing thing, and their kids are not interested. In fact, the last subject to deal I had, I was like, why do your kids not want this? And they were like, I don't know, but I'm older now. I can't take care of this property anymore. If you'll just take over the payments, we will, you can just, we'll just sign it over to you. Just take over the payments. Okay. That's my favorite way to buy properties, by the way, is to just take over payments. So if you got a house you need to sell in a hurry, come up your girl. We can work out a win-win solution that not only helps you, but helps me and helps whoever ultimately ends up buying your home. Okay. And so I just have to be realistic about the fact that perhaps neither one of my boys, as amazing on camera as they are, maybe none of them want this business. So then I have to create plans for what's to happen with the business. Or I could just say, hey, we run a debt-free business. I die, it dies. We're all good. Give all my stuff to the church or give it to my husband or whatever. It's all good. And we could do that, but do it with intention. Do it with intention. Don't let the state make that decision for you, because when the state makes that decision for you, it usually comes with dollars attached. And I want all my dollars to go where they're supposed to go. And that isn't to line Uncle Sam's pockets. It certainly isn't to line Governor Abbott's pockets. All right. It's to do good in the community. And so those are the kinds of things I'm going to encourage you to look at. There are a lot of other insurance policies you could use for a business to, depending on the structure of the business, but you want to make sure that you have something in writing and that it meets the need. And you want to do that planning now. You don't want to wait till you're pulling in 7 figures and you guys are climbing into 8 figures, and now you're trying to figure out how to backtrack and get everything together. Now. That said, don't say, oh, I made $10 at a trade show, I'm going to spend $2,500 on a trust for my business. No, make the money first. All right. Make the money first, but do the thinking now. It don't cost anything to think yet. You can think. You can think and you can come up with ideas like, what do I, no kidding, want to have happen? When I went to go update my documents after having the little one, some of my documents I didn't realize were still from back in 1997 when I first got commissioned. So I went to the Air Force Academy in 93. I got graduated and got commissioned in 97. And I got saved and sanctified, and we didn't have any children, and we tried for so long to have children, and we never could have children. But the Air Force doesn't care; they want to put somebody on that dotted line. So we put our church on the dotted line, and I was like, wow. Well, one, I'm glad the Lord kept me alive so that my oldest didn't end up losing 2 parents, in his life. But I'm also glad the Lord kept me alive long enough to realize, hey, I need to put my son on this insurance policy. That's who it was for. So real quick, I saw the question about oh, I love that. Yeah, he said, look this, y'all. He said, at times when a child has love with a female, he is not thinking about that will. Well, you know what? He's not thinking about that will, but I'm hoping he'll be thinking about something, and that is going to be strategic and not just in the moment. That phrase, poor people and unsuccessful people, they make decisions according to their present situation, and that includes lusting after the female. All right, or the guy. But successful people and wealthy people, they make decisions according to their strategic plan, according to their purpose, according to the long-term desires, according to the higher heights that they're trying to attain. All right. All right. So I'm going to answer the question about the veterans, but there's something else I wanted to talk about. Insurance real quick. Please have insurance. Please have insurance, even if you don't have a business. Now, if you don't have anybody who's depending on your income, you actually don't need insurance. I know. All the infinite banking people are going to be like, you need to have insurance so you can borrow from yourself for free later on. Okay, well, we can have a philosophical disagreement on that, because I think I'd rather you put it into a self-directed IRA or a Roth IRA and get your money tax-free and never have to pay it back. Okay. But that's a whole separate discussion. There's pros and cons to each. Okay. But if you have somebody who's depending on your income, that's what insurance is for. And so if nothing else, I know some of you go to these seminars and you're like, wow, I can't afford $500 a month for insurance. Don't even stress about that, because all you really need is a term policy to carry you through whenever people stop depending on your income. And if you will follow the financial principles that I teach in 15, as little as 7 years to 10 years, 15, definitely 20 years, you will be financially independent. You won't need to insure to make sure your spouse is taken care of, because you will have your investment. You have so much passive income. It's exponential growth, baby. You don't have to worry about that later on. But even if you did, there are things that you can do. So in what cases might you need a much more expensive policy than just getting term? Well, if you have a special needs child and you don't have the wealth or the income or family members to fund a special needs trust, in that situation, you may want to consider one of those kinds of policies that are going to be more expensive, because they're going to provide a lasting life benefit. See, term life insurance is cheap because it's got a term defined: 20 years, 10 years, 30 years. Okay. And at the end of that, they no more insurance. So that's why you got to invest. But there are other insurance policies that cost more. They basically cost term, but they add more to it. So that added more to it gets invested. Okay. So a lot of financial planners will say, do the investing yourself. But with these extra policies, one of the things that they do is you don't get as much from it as you would if you invested the money yourself, but your insurance doesn't go away. Okay. I don't tend to recommend those policies because there's very few people who either meet the income thresholds or the family situation in which those might even be viable. Most people, I'd say 999 people out of 100 that come and talk to me, they are going to be just fine with a term policy. And I want you to have more cash flow. That's why I'm called the queen of cash flow, y'all. I want you to have more cash flow so you can turn it into passive income. All right. But if you've got a special needs child, make sure you talk to me before you go talk to an insurance broker, so that I can walk you through the things they're going to tell you and help you make a decision that's in your best interest, rather than a decision that puts more money through higher commissions in their pocket. All right. All right. So now that was talking about the business when you die. You want to make sure you address that. And I know we don't like to talk about death, but to me, it's so important to understand. Like a couple months ago, I sat down and I took my son through, here's where the wills are, here's the insurance policies, here's all the things. Now, I didn't get my bank account numbers. I did have a scare though when we got his bank account. Y'all, when we got his bank account, somehow one of my accounts got attached to his. So he went into his bank app, and he has his little saving, his little checking account now for his little P-Wigs Productions, and working at Glen Lake Camp as a counselor and whatever other things he does to make money. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Why is that account in your screen? I had to go into my bank, and I don't know what happened. I think it was an account that I used to have with his father. And whatever it was, whatever, mama locked that thing down, because I don't need you to have access to my money. No, because you know what's going to happen? Next time he gets to smelling some little girl, we're not trying to be funny. See, when you do everything well written and well established, it keeps you from being funny with the money, and it saves your family relationships. Okay, now there was another question here about veterans retiring. Okay, this is a great question. I hope you're still on, sir, because I know I took a little long with that. I was having so much fun. This is a great question. Now, when it comes to retired veterans, okay, this is one I'm gonna have to draw out. I don't have to. I am choosing to. I'm trying to change my vocabulary on that, because I realize that I know, and you probably know, that when we say I have to do this and I have to do that, you and I both know we're really making a choice. And we don't have to make that choice, but we're choosing this course of action. Now, we're maybe choosing this course of action because the other courses of action are unpalatable. We don't want to do them. It's going to make things worse for us. It's going to cost more. It's going to be more headache or whatever. But that doesn't mean we have to do it. I don't have to go pick up my son. What happened today? He called me. He texted me. I hope he didn't get in trouble in school for this. He texted me to say he left his notebook at home. I don't have to go run his notebook to him. Okay? I don't have to do that. You know why I don't have to do that? Because it's his responsibility to make sure he pack his bag in the morning, and mama got a life. It just so happened that mama had a meeting over there by where right across the street from the school. So it was not much difference to me to walk over there, but I still didn't do it on the timeline he wanted because I was making a choice. I made a choice to help or not help. I made a choice to say, you know what? I'm going to make him wait a little bit because I got a life. And he needs to know, especially 10 years from now when some grandbabies show up, he needs to know mama got a life. My life does not revolve around these children. They do not revolve around them. All right. It revolves around my ministry, revolves around my husband, revolves around my business, and in that order. Well, actually, Mr. Man comes first. And that's biblical, y'all. Those of you who disagree with that, my Bible tells me that the married woman cares for the things of the world, how she might please her husband. All right. Somebody made a comment to me because I have my new business cards. I don't know if y'all have seen them. Let me show y'all my new business cards. My new business cards, they say Lieutenant Colonel, retired JJ Conway. And look at that down at the bottom. It says pastor, wife, and mom. I want you to know up front that my family is important to me. I want you to know up front that Mr. Man is important to me. I want you to know up front that these kids are important to me. And I'm not taking any business that contradicts with me being pastor, wife, or mom. All right. And if that means I don't get on some stages, well, fine then. All right, I did that and now my camera's out of, okay, there we go. So let's bring that question back up. Let's talk about veterans investing. Let me show you what happens. How many veterans do we have on the line today? How many veterans do you have on the line today? If you're a veteran, if you're Army, drop a hooah in the chat. If you're Marines, drop a oorah in the chat. I don't know what the Navy says. And if you're what's that joke? The Air Force says, what's up? Look, they don't call us Chair Force for no reason, right? And I'm okay with that because the Air Force was good to me until it wasn't. But it was good to me for most of my career. All right. I found out real quick that when you get injured and you're not useful anymore, you see a whole nother side of the Air Force. But how many of us were excited? I think it was last year we got a 7% cost of living increase in our retirement pay. And that sounded so good. Oh my goodness, that pay jump and that retirement pay. Ooh, I was like, thank you, Lord. But when I looked at inflation for that year, they gave us 7%. Yay us. But the inflation was 8%, whatever year that was. All right. So aim high. I don't know what the new one is now for Space Force. Semper something. Anyway, I almost I almost pulled my retirement paper because they established the Space Force right before I retired. And I almost pulled my retirement paper because I wanted to transfer to Space Force. Y'all know, some of y'all don't know. Some of y'all don't know. My concentration in physics was space at the Air Force Academy. I was the #1 space physics graduate that year. And so I've always wanted to deal with space. I've always wanted to be in space. I've always wanted to do research in space. And I was so tempted, but my family needed mama to be out of the Air Force and to be home. And it was the best decision I ever made. And I will never, ever, ever, ever regret that decision. But one of these days, I'm going to find my way into the Space Force, y'all. All right. So here's what happens. Let me just do an investment graph. Okay. We're just going to do a basic investment graph. Okay. And so let's just make a blue line. No, I'm going to make it red. I'm going to make a red line for inflation. Okay. And inflation goes up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. Okay, it's kind of like the market, but for the most part, it goes up. And if you are a math nerd and you do the calculations on inflation and you do what they call a best fit line, I know I'm throwing some terms out at you. If you do a best fit line to the rate of inflation, I don't know if y'all can see that real good. That best fit line that I softly drew there is an exponential graph. It's not a straight graph. And a straight graph would be, it goes up 2 and over 1. Okay, this would be a straight graph. If it went like my pen, that's straight. That's linear. Inflation and investments and all that stuff, they compound. So inflation is 3% this year. Next year it's 5%, but that's 5% on what was already 3% last year. Right? So it compounds in an exponential growth pattern, just like the compound interest that you make when you keep investing in the market, right? And so what we find then, whatever cost of living increase that they give us for the military, it's usually 1 to 3% less for your retirement pay than inflation, which when you start out, it's not that big of a difference. When you start out, it's not that big of a difference. 1 to 3%. What's 1% between friends, right? All right. But as you go over time, you find that the difference gets more and more and more. And I actually drew this way shorter than it should be, because I'm going to give you an example. In 2013, this person, wait, let me back it up. When did he retire? And he retired from civil service after 30 years in 2013. So he retired from the from the Army in math and public. So what's that? 1983, 83, 93, 03, 13. Yeah, 1983. His retirement check, he retired as a, oh, no, he wasn't Army. He was Marine Corps. His retirement check was 17 something. Let's just call it 1750, because I can't remember exactly what it was. I just remember that it was 1750. Okay. That was his retirement check. Well, how many of y'all remember what rents and properties and things like that were in 1983? In 1983, to make 1750 was good money. Okay. When I graduated, I'm going to erase this 2000. I'll come back to this 2023 in a second. When I graduated from the Air Force Academy in 1993, my take-home pay as a second lieutenant in the Air Force was about $1,700 a month. Okay. My little rent back in 97. I went to the Air Force in 93, but I graduated from the Academy in 97, was $1,700 a month. And back then, that was more money than my parents made put together. So that was good money in 1997. So you know it was real good money in 1983. All right. But you fast forward to 2013, now his retirement money that he was making, because again, it's not linear, it's exponential. And the problem with exponential is you start small and you've got a small slope. Well, then it grows small, but it still grows greatly at the end, but you got to get there. And for him, I think his retirement pay was only like 23, I'm going to call it $2,400 a month. Okay. 30 years later. All right. So now you could, in the DC area back in 1983, buy a nice house and live off of $1,750 a month. And if you were smart and paid your mortgage off and didn't refinance it, didn't dip into a home improvement consolidation loan, you didn't do no debt consolidation loan. If you just paid that house and kept that nice little, his house was probably a little $300-400 a month mortgage back then in 1983. If he'd have just paid that off, by now it's worth $1.2 million in the DC area, and he would probably be okay. But you're still not going to live, even with a paid for house. You can barely drive to work in the DC area for $2,400 a month. You see what I'm saying? So what are you going to do? Like it sounds like good money when you first retire, but it's not necessarily good money. So what are you going to do? You're going to keep investing. You got to keep investing. And I would say invest aggressively. Now, first, I would say do the baby steps for financial. Get out of debt. Get that good 3 to 6 month savings account so you can weather the storms of life. And then if you've got your affairs in order, you should be able to put 15 to 20% of your income into investments, whether that's real estate, the stock market, or things like that. Now, I'm going to show you. I don't have it handy. I did an article for the Mentor on this, and it's actually my first article that I got published in the Mentor for Air Force Cadet Officer Mentoring. And it was about how the projections of what inflation's going to be between now and 30 years from now. Okay. Cause I started caring about this when I met this supervisor. He was my supervisor for like a month, and then he retired. And so I started caring about this, and I did that calculation, like cost of living in 30 years is going to be like $30,000 a month if things go the way they've been going. Well, when I calculated what the retirement pay is going to be if it goes the way it's been going, it's not going to be no $30,000 a month. So we have to invest. So what do I recommend investing in? I actually recommend investing in self-directed IRAs. Not self-directed. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I mean, I do like self-directed IRAs if you're in real estate, okay? But there are other vehicles that might be a bit more advantageous, okay? And that's one of the things, if you are interested in, my CPA actually teaches a really good class on the different options, okay? But what I meant to say was a Roth IRA. Okay, a retirement account that you pay the tax on the money now, but you don't have to pay the tax on the money later when it grows, because as it grows exponentially, that's going to be a better tax advantage for you than something that you have than the traditional IRA where you put the money in now, you don't have to pay tax on it now. See, most of us, back in the day, this is so funny, y'all. Back in the day, when with a retirement account, the assumption was when you retired, you've been in that company for 25-30 years, you get your gold watch and you go sit home on your front porch and you're not doing anything anymore. Well, we're not doing anything. We have lives and we have ministries and we have community service and we have golf and we have disc golf and we have pickleball and we have all the things. We have cruises, we have all the things. And so we are not passive people. So our income and our expectation of lifestyle will continue to increase. And so that old model doesn't work anymore. But I remember when they came out with the Roth. Does anybody remember when they came out with the Roth? At the time, I was a follower of Larry Burkett, who helped me get out of debt. And he's actually the reason I started doing this. I don't know if y'all have heard the story before. I'll make it real quick. But I couldn't even afford $8 for his cassette tape program on how to get out of debt. And so I ended up getting a special deal with him and his staff. He approved his staff to send me the cassette tape program, but I had to promise to help somebody else learn it later. I had to pass it on and teach them the concepts later. And I was like, 2 people later, I was like, "Oh, I'm really good at this." And so when I remember when the Roth IRA first came out, and he was like, "Don't trust it. Don't trust the government. You can't trust the government. The only reason they're doing this is because they need money now." And that's true. That is really true. That is the whole reason the Roth IRA came out, is because Congress was like, "We need money, but we said we weren't going to add any taxes. So what we going to do?" And somebody creative, I guess his name was Roth. There's somebody else that helped champion it with him. It says it lost connection. I'm going too long. Hold on. It's telling me I can't get in there. I don't know why. Well, hopefully I'll be able to get it back later. Okay. So, what was I going to say? Congress needed money. They had made a pledge they couldn't add in more taxes. So some creative heads got together and they said, "You know what we gonna do? We gonna give people an opportunity to not have to pay taxes later, but with that opportunity, they're gonna have to pay taxes today." And so what they did, it was brilliant, y'all, brilliant financial strategy. What they did was they said, "Look, traditionally, when you save for retirement, you put the money in and you don't have to pay taxes on it till you pull it out. And we figure you're going to have lower income, so your taxes are going to be lower then, and it's tax advantage for you." This is how the government got people to start saving in the first place, because they were worried about Social Security imploding, right? And so then now they need money. They're like, "Okay, let's work this a different way. Let's convince people that they're going to have more money later," which is actually true for a lot of us now. Let's convince people they're going to have more money later, and let's convince them to go ahead and pay the taxes on that money now, with the promise that they won't have to pay taxes on it later. Guess what happens later? We don't care. We're not going to be in office. Win-win. Yay, America. Yay, people. Okay. So at some point, Larry Burkett's warnings are going to come to pass. Larry Burkett's warnings was like, you can't trust what the government says they're going to do far off in the future. You might as well take the tax advantage you can get now. So he was very much against the Roth IRA. Of course, this was like 20-30 years ago, So 30 years ago, I think. Ooh, man, I'm old. Oh, well, black don't crack and beige don't age. So there you go. But that was the premise. Okay, that was the premise. And so and so I I understand that the government needs to change a few things. A lot of people are making a lot of money and building a lot of wealth, and they're not having to pay any taxes on it because they put it in a self-directed IRA. I encourage you to get on that, but I also encourage you to be an astute observer of human behavior and realize that at some point, Larry Burkett's predictions that this may not last forever may come to pass. Okay, so we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. Take advantage of what you can take advantage of. But I recommend that you invest in a Roth IRA and a good growth mutual fund that's not going to keep selling your stuff over and over and over and keep charging you capital gains taxes. They're going to buy stuff and hold on to it for the long term. Find a good fund through a good fund manager, and not one who's just putting you in something so they can make a high commission. Okay, so that's why you want to look for, and we can talk about that offline because I can see that I'm already out of time for today. You want to find a good financial planner, and that's probably not somebody at the bank. It's probably not somebody who works for the bank. It's probably not somebody who works for the insurance company. It may be somebody who works in wealth management at one of the investment houses. But again, you got to look at the costs and you got to look at what you're getting. Sometimes there are funds that you might be able to do better in that might have a higher cost, but you have to do your research and find out, because there was that study where they just had some random picks that performed just as well as financial analysts, right? I don't have the study in front of me. I can't give you the details, but you want to do your due diligence and make sure you're not wasting your money. You also want to do your due diligence and make sure that just because this particular fund says zero management fees or zero costs, you want to evaluate all the fees. Like, I just got a new update for my son's 529 plan. I have two, one for each son, and for the little one, he's in Texas, and they sent an update that basically said if you pull your money out, you're going to have to pay a forfeiture fee. Well, there was no forfeiture fee when we set it up. I wouldn't have set it up like that if there was a forfeiture fee. Like, if you move your money out of that plan into another plan, you got to pay the plan you moved it out of. And you know why they did that is because they've been losing money. But you know what? In all actuality, everybody's been losing money. Okay, so everybody lost, and then it went way up, and then lost again, and so it's going to climb back up. And it hasn't lost much this year, but it hasn't grown like people had experienced in previous years. But yeah, it wasn't called a forfeiture fee. It was something like it was some fee. It was some term that meant we're going to move your money from this fund to another fund. Move the money from us to some other 529. You're going to have to pay us. It's kind of like a rent. It's kind of like a rent thing. When you break your lease and you leave, you got to pay a month rent or 2 months rent. It was kind of like that. Okay, so I'm going to recommend that you do a Roth IRA. I'm also going to recommend that you look into real estate. Now, I know some of you don't want to deal with tenants and toilets, but there are a lot of different ways to invest in real estate. And I encourage you to go to my YouTube channel and find the Real Estate Investing 101, where it actually walks you through how to invest. And when it walks you through how to invest in different ways, you'll find that some of those ways that you invest, you don't even have to own the house. You don't have to deal with tenants and toilets. You don't have to deal with 3 a.m. phone calls. Okay. And I know that there's investors like me that sometimes take on partners. Like, I've got a pretty big project that we're working on right now. I would love to take some partners, and I would love to have some learn as you learn people. Not necessarily investing at the learn as you earn level, but you're basically looking over my shoulder and you're getting a piece of the action. Okay. And so we can talk offline about all those different things, but I want to make sure that you understand that if you just say, oh, I've got a good pension, I got a check for life, and that's a great thing. It is a great thing today, but you got to make sure it's a great thing tomorrow. And one of the ways we do that is by getting out of debt, making sure we have good savings account, 3 to 6 months. And if you can swing it, I even recommend in this economy that we go all the way out to a 12-month savings account, not only because we don't know what's coming down the pike, but also good business and real estate opportunities might be coming out. And you might take 6 months of that money and buy yourself another property. Okay, the foreclosures are on the rise. I heard something that their foreclosures are up 25%. A lot of people are starting to default. There's a lot of ways to create win-win solutions for you and the homeowner and the future homeowner. Okay, So I want you to do those things. I want you to invest 15 to 20% of your income. And somebody says, wow, that's an awful lot. Well, it is a lot, but I can tell you, if you will invest 20% of your income. Now, this is with the caveat that you've already gotten out of debt. Because see, this is what people like to do. They like to tell me, oh, well, I'm just leveraging that and I'm going to invest over here and I'm going to make big money over here. Well, the market is making 8 to 12% on average. And if you invest in real estate, you might be able to get much higher than that. I get much higher returns on that when I invest. If the numbers don't work for me to get much higher than that, I don't invest. So it is possible to do that if you're active and not passive. And it is possible to make a lot of money if you're doing certain kinds of day trading things where you are basically sucked into that all day, and you are, as soon as it goes up a little bit, you're selling, right? And you're jumping in and out and in and out, in and out. Like you could do that. I'm not gonna do that, so I don't do that. Because that's just, I don't, my personality is just not, it's not the good use of my time. Okay. Now paying somebody else to do that might be a good use of my time, but I would never, ever, ever, ever want you to invest with money you can't afford to lose. And what happens is you think, oh, I'm going to float this on credit. I'm going to float this on home equity line. I'm going to float this on this, and I'm going to make more money over here. But what you don't realize is the fine print. Some people come to me, they're paying 36% on their I had one person one time, it was 40 something percent, y'all. I was like, you're never gonna pay this off. We have to stop digging the hole deeper, and we have to stop saying, oh, I'm just gonna leverage. Well, only thing you're leveraging is profit in somebody else's pocket. Now if you got $1 million of collateral, and you go out and you leverage some money to go buy a new property or all that, I'm not going to be super mad at you, because you can, if something goes south, you can liquidate something and take care of it. But why have the headaches? I want to sleep good at night. Okay. And so I'm going to recommend that you get out of debt. Don't rob Peter to pay Paul. And the banker is laughing all the way to the bank, because they're like, ha ha ha, I got the new invest in this IRA that's making, our big high yield 12%, but they're paying us 24% on credit card. Oh, well, I'm going to make so much money. It's going to be eaten up by what you're paying on the credit card. Knock out the credit card, pay yourself an instant 24%, and then invest. But if you invest 15 to 20%, you will be able to live off of your income, your passive income from that investment. And then you won't have to work for it. See, I don't want you to just have a check for life, but I want you to take that check for life and turn it into multiple checks for life. Does that make sense today? All right. Now I'm also big on real estate. But those are the two biggest things that I recommend. I recommend real estate, and I recommend the stock market, like good growth mutual funds. I am a set and forget it kind of person. I do love fixing up houses. I do love the hunt of finding a new property. I know that everybody likes to do that, but there's ways to passively invest in real estate. But I absolutely recommend that my veterans or anybody else on a pension, you got to make sure that you are investing aggressively, that you are living by sound financial principles, and you are investing regularly and aggressively, so that your income can keep pace with inflation. Okay. All right, this has been so much fun. Hey, glad to see you on there. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and check the free conference call right now and see if there's any hands raised on free conference call. Let's see. I don't see any hands raised on free conference call. So I'm gonna go ahead and check the Ask JJC. Let me check that. Let's see. Okay, I should have had that pulled up beforehand. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is a good one. And you know what? She actually asked this last month, but I didn't answer it because we got so long into the other stuff. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and answer it, even though I'm a little bit over. And one of the channels that I broadcast to, they don't like me to go long. Okay. So I'm going to do a quick answer now, just in case she watches this, to see if her question gets answered finally. And then we can do a more detailed answer next week. So I'm going to leave that in here as unanswered, even though I'm going to touch on it real quick today. Okay. And the question is it more beneficial to be a franchise owner than full owner if I have no entrepreneur experience? Okay. So here's the thing. Hey, did that screen go blank when I cut off that for y'all? Hold on. Let me see something. Does that make your screen go blank? Let me go back to that other tab. Did that make your screen go blank? Drop it in the chat if you would. If you actually see me, great. If you see a blank screen, huh? Okay. I want to get a handle on whatever that was that on my screen it looked like I blanked out. Okay, so is it better to be a franchise owner rather than a full owner if you have no entrepreneur experience? Okay, this is a very interesting question to me because, like most questions, the answer really is it depends. It doesn't depend on your entrepreneur or business owner experience whether you're going to succeed either as a franchisee or an entrepreneur. What depends on is the quality of your character, your leadership, your ability to communicate, and your ability to quickly figure out what people need and be able to deliver it to them. So if you are a person who can quickly figure out what people need and you can quickly deliver it to them in a cost-effective manner that leaves them happy with you, well, it doesn't matter if you've got experience in business or not. You will succeed in business if you follow sound business principles. Okay. Then if you're not sure about sound business principles, well, the great thing about this country is we have some cool things like SCORE, Service Corps of Retired Executives, right? That can help you learn the basics. And almost every county in America, almost, not all, but almost every county in America has resources to help you be able to grow a business and learn how to put together a business plan. They have free classes on how to put together a business plan, how to evaluate the market. And if you can do those things, then the franchisee owner versus the full owner, it really doesn't matter. What matters is your personality. Okay. And so I'm going to recommend to you a book. I'm actually trying to get it up here on Amazon real quick. It's called The $100 Startup by Chris Guillebeau. This is a great book. All right, let me get this link for you. I'm going to drop this link into the chat. I encourage y'all to check it out. Thank you, sir, for letting me know y'all can see me just fine. Uh-oh. StreamYard has lost access about that. I don't know what to do with it, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. So one of the channels I was broadcasting on, they've lost access. So maybe somebody else went live because I went too long. I don't know. But anyway, they should know by now that I'm on Thursday nights, but maybe because I went too long. Okay. But on LinkedIn, hopefully you'll see it on, you know what, if you can't see it you might not be able to see it on LinkedIn. I'll post it here. It's called The $100 Startup. And one of the things that I like about this $100 startup, I've got too many. All right, let's do this. Okay, save and show. Okay, it's called the $100 Startup. And what he's showing you is case after case after case of people who built a fully functional independent business that meets their financial needs with starting with just $100. And what I like about that is a lot of times people think you have to go into a lot of debt and you have to do all these machinations and you have to hire all these influencers and you have to go big or go home. And I like going big and go home because I'm a big personality, right? But I'd like for you to not be in debt. Okay. So when would you choose? So wait, let me wrap up that thought. So it doesn't franchise versus full owner. There is differences we're going to talk about in a second. But at the end of the day, if you are a high level person of excellence and character and you are willing to be mentored by those resources in your community and you follow sound business practices, you spend less than you make, you keep something aside in retained funds, retained earnings. That's basically a business name for your savings account, right? It's a business savings, right? You don't spend money you don't have. You treat your employees and your contractors and your vendors well, and you market and you don't let yourself be the best kept secret, like you do these things, you will be successful no matter which one you pick. Okay. So when would you want to pick a franchise versus starting your own business? This is an excellent question. Oh, I should probably have told y'all what that is. Let me edit that and put that in here. This is the $100 startup. Okay. Great book. All right, let me save that. Boom. And let me put that up there. Okay. Great book, great book, great book. Okay. So when would you want to do a franchise versus doing a business of your own? Well, the very first qualifier in doing a business of your own, again, it's not whether you have, experience running a business before, because I mean, come on, we're never good the first time, right? And so, but you have to start to get good. So if you never start, you'll never get good. Okay. It's going to depend on a couple different factors. Okay. If the franchise that you want to start costs $100,000 buy-in and you don't have $100,000, then you're not starting that franchise. Not on my watch. Not if I'm your financial planner. Not if I'm your financial coach. Not if I'm your auntie on this channel right now that's telling you, hey, sound business practices are don't buy into something you don't have money for. I know. You got to bet on yourself. You got to show the world that you believe in you, and that's why we pull out that card and buy into that thing. But you know what? At the end of the day, you got to take care of you. And if you don't take care of you, I guarantee ain't nobody else gonna pay that credit card bill. And ain't nobody else going to come rushing to your side to help you when you have to file bankruptcy, because that $100,000 franchise that you thought was so amazing isn't. All right. We'll talk about how to avoid that in a second. Again, I'm only going to hit the wave tops today. We'll do a deeper dive on that probably for the next episode. We'll probably do a deeper dive on that. Maybe I'll make that the source of our next Wealth Building Wednesday. I'm not sure. Okay. But I want you to understand that it really is going to depend on a lot of circumstances. Okay. If you have a business proposition, a business idea, a business calling, something you really want to do, something you're good at that nobody else is doing, or that you can do it in a way that distinguishes yourself very clearly from everybody else, so that when people hear what you're doing, the way you're doing it, they're compelled to buy into it. Well, then in that case, you may just want to start your own business, and you might want to do it as a small startup just to get your feet wet, just to get some experience, just to figure out what's going on. Okay. Now, the other question I might ask when we're debating starting a franchise versus your own business, and this one's a harder one. So I know who put this question in, because they actually did a coaching session with me. And I was like, well, let me ask you something, because most people that want to start a business, they kind of know what kind of business they want to start, because it's a real passion business for them. They already know what they want to do. It makes their heart sing and they're excited about it. And it's really, franchise all the way over to own business. That's a huge spectrum of everything in between, including those endpoints. And so for me, it's like, okay, what do you really want to do? Do you really want the franchise? Do you really want a business? And the bottom line answer is, I want to make some money. And I'm like, okay, let's start there. Let's start with what the purpose is about the business. Because whether you want to make money or whether you have a passion for that business is going to determine whether or not you're going to be successful. A lot of people fail because they were only in it for the money. They opened up that, well, actually, I'll take that back. I was about to say they opened up a Chick-fil-A because they know Chick-fil-A owners making bank. But Chick-fil-A has such a huge involved process of interviewing that it is very, very difficult to become an owner of Chick-fil-A franchise if you don't have established high character, high leadership ability, good connections in your community, well respected and well loved in the community or neighboring communities, and all of these different things that they are looking for. And it is a very, very long and involved franchise process. It is also a very cheap franchise. The last time I checked, because they opened one up here in Stephenville, and I saw that years ago when my husband first took a job here. I was like, ooh, maybe I could retire from the Air Force and open up a Chick-fil-A. Then they took it off the list, and then they put it back on the list. And by then I'd already started this business, so I wasn't going to switch because I wouldn't have had the passion for it. But they do a very long and involved interview process. And at the time, the franchise fee was only $5,000. but they're looking for a very specific person that they know is going to succeed. They're looking for somebody with the connections and the leadership to carry the brand with the excellence that they carry it with. Okay. You can't just have anybody up at a Chick-fil-A running Chick-fil-A. Okay. Because every time the customer says something and they say, thank you, you don't just say you're welcome. You say, my pleasure. And some of us, can I, do I even need to say what I was about to say? I don't think I need to say what I was about to say. Do I? I don't need to say what I was about to say. I don't need to say it. I don't need to say it. You know what I was going to say. So let me switch that to another one. And I'm not going to name the company, but it was a janitorial. It was a janitorial. And there's a lot of janitorials out there. That's why I feel comfortable talking about this. That business was a dog. It was a dog when my friend bought into it. And it was a dog when he hoofed and tried to make it work and tried to hustle and make it work. And it was a dog when he finally let it go. Now, it didn't have to be a dog. I know somebody else who was highly successful with a cleaning business. And after being mentored by this person for a few years, I learned what my friend did wrong with their business. But that business franchise didn't teach people how to do it the right way. All that business franchise cared about was give me your money and give me your licensing fee every year. So it's not just about is the franchise better versus business. It's about what is your goal? What is it you want to accomplish? What are you passionate about? And what do you care so much about that you're willing to fight through the valleys and fight through the ups and downs of opening a business and really do the thing? Okay. And so, when people come to me and they're like, oh, I want to be a professional speaker. I want to get on your platform and I want to be on your stage. One of the first questions I ask is, tell me what you speak on and why you're passionate about it. Because if you're not passionate about it, I don't need you on my stage. If all you want to do is get up and talk at people for an hour and think you're going to make $5,000 and you're not willing to put in the work and you're not willing to put in the passion, I don't need you on my stage because you're going to put my audience to sleep. And they're going to realize that you're self-centered and that you're not going to give them anything decent. And it's going to make me look bad. And I'm not trying to look bad. I work too hard for you to come in and make me look bad. And I've had people do that, like, well, I just wanted to make money. Why'd you become a professional speaker? Well, I just wanted to make money. I saw that other people make money just talking, and I wanted to make money. Okay, fine. Maybe that's what draws you to it. But if you don't develop something, and if you're telling me, you come to me and you're telling me that any business will work, I just want one. Really, what you're saying is, I need more money and I don't know how to get more money in my current situation. And I'm grasping at anything that's going to help me make more money. Well, guess what happens when we're grasping at anything that's going to help us make more money? Usually we lose money. Why do we lose money? Because we did not do it with intention and strategic motive behind it. Okay. And so I would ask you, okay, what is it you want to accomplish with the business? Some people, what they want to accomplish isn't served by a business at all. Sometimes what they want to accomplish with a business is actually better served with a nonprofit that pays them. And you can build a highly profitable nonprofit that pays you. I've watched people do it. I can connect you to people that can show you how to do it. Okay. I was going to start a nonprofit, and I know y'all look at me in the ministry. Well, that's not my nonprofit. That's the ministry. It's not my nonprofit. It's the church's nonprofit. But I was going to start a nonprofit to do financial stuff. And after sitting down with one of my girlfriends who's really good at fundraising and things like that, and understands what donors need to feel comfortable giving. And after sitting down with somebody else who is a very good philanthropist, they're very strategic and genuine with their relationships, and they were able to, between the two of them, ask me the questions I needed to ask. And they were like, both of them came to the same conclusion. Hey, for what you want to do, there's no benefit to doing a nonprofit. You might as well just get paid. And you know what? I get paid to do what I'd love to do. And there are times when I offer my services to a nonprofit so they can pad their grant application. And then they get a better chance at the grant because now they're offering more opportunities. And when they get that grant approved, they bring me in as a vendor. It's a win-win, y'all. Y'all know I love the win-win-win. All right. So the next question I'm going to ask you about a franchise versus versus starting your own brick and mortar, starting your own online or anything like that is, do you have the drive and the stamina to make the things you need to make out of scratch? Okay. Now, This is not me trying to be offensive. I know sometimes when I say something, it comes off offensive. I know sometimes when I say something, it gets really it gets not pleasant. I know that sometimes when I say something, it sounds like I'm trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be rude here. I'm trying to help. Okay. And in my trying to help, I'm giving you the caveat out front that this is not going to sound nice because I don't know yet a nice way to say it. You can drop a nice way to say it in the chat, and then I'll learn for next time how to say it a little bit better. Okay. But the thing is, if you are not a self-driven person who already gets up on time and doesn't hit snooze 20 times a day, and you are not a self-driven person who does what you say you're going to do, I'm not saying don't start a business. I'm just saying you're going to have to build up that level of character before your business is going to be a 7, 8, 9-figure success. Because those are the behaviors, the disciplined behaviors that it takes to make a business happen. And so I'm not saying don't start the business. I'm not saying don't test the waters. I'm not saying don't put out a test product and see how the market responds. I'm here for all of that. But in your getting and in your building of the business, realize that you got to have a personal growth plan. And a personal growth plan will help you grow into the person you need to be to have the success that you desire to have. Now, if you can't afford a detailed one-on-one coaching program with someone like me, I understand. That's why every fourth Thursday we do our Empowered Entrepreneur. It's like a personal growth plan that you don't have to pay for. The only thing you really have to invest is your time. Now, actually, your time is your most precious resource. So it really is the highest level of investment. But you invest your time and you will grow just by being on our calls. You'll grow just by being on our calls. Yet at the same time, for a lot of us, we know the things. Like we know what we got to do. It's a matter of doing it. And so if you're going to start a business, but you're one of those people that you break promises to yourself all day long, how do we break promises? I'm going to get up early and work out. Snooze. I'm going to call my mom today. Snooze. I'm going to make amends with my coworker today. Forget it. I'm going to. Your whole day is peppered with I'm gonna, and it didn't get around to any dids. You ought to wear that shirt that says coulda, woulda, shoulda. But I'd rather wear the shirt that says coulda crossed out, woulda crossed out, shoulda crossed out, did that thing. And if you're not a do that thing kind of person, then whatever business you start out, you're going to want more hand holding. Let me say that again. If you are not a get it done kind of person, if you are not the kind of person who can give yourself a command and follow it, even if you are, but you know there's some areas where you could do better, I'm going to recommend that as you start a business, you also implement a personal growth plan with coaching or coursework or coming to my Thursday classes, especially the fourth Thursday, so that you can grow into the character you need to be to have that high level business. Because it's one thing to make the money, honey, but it's another thing to keep it. And we want you to keep it. We want you to keep more of your money. And that means having that higher level of character, rising up out of scarcity and poverty and frustration mindset, and being able to walk strategically with what you do. So if you already know you're not the kind of person that's either going to develop or hire somebody to work on the brand, and you're not the kind of person that's either going to develop or hire somebody to build your graphics, and you're not the kind of person that's going to develop or hire somebody to order your supplies in a timely manner, and you're not a math person, so you're not going to keep track of how much you're bringing in and how much you're taking out, and you don't have any money to hire somebody to do that. Well, if you're not going to be able to do all those things, then you probably want to get into a business that does more of the hand holding for you. And franchises and network marketing can offer some of those opportunities for you. Okay. Y'all notice I slid in a term there that she didn't ask about. She didn't ask about network marketing, but network marketing is going to be your lowest cost of entry, is going to be your lowest barriers to entry, and they're going to have the highest level of hand holding as it pertains to keeping track of how much you ordered and how much you sold, and being able to provide all the collateral. What I mean by collateral is all the graphics and the websites. Usually they have a website, you pay a little extra for it, but the website's already populated with all the things. You don't have to load the products. You don't have to charge people's credit cards. You don't have to worry about chargebacks and all that. The website handles all of that. Like, that's another opportunity for someone to have a business. Now, I will be honest with you. The research says that 99% of people in network marketing lose money, don't make it. So if you're going to do something like that, then I'm going to want you to come in and do a business review with me so I can help walk you through whether or not the business you're about to sign up for is really right for you. Okay, let me take this down because I want y'all to be able to see this link, banners. I want y'all to see this link, okay? And I think we're down to our last question, so I'm going to take that one off too. This Calendly.com/JJ Conway/JJ Biz. That puts you on my calendar for a business review. So we can review a business you're thinking about starting. We can review a business that you're already into. We can review your business succession plan. We can we can review your business capital investment plan, any kind of investment plan. We can review your business, your group insurances that you have, your health insurance, your life insurance, things like that you might provide for your employees or yourself in business, right? Like, we can look at any piece that you want to look at as many times as you want to sit down with me. You just go into that link and you schedule it, and you'll be on my calendar, and I will be focused on you one-on-one. All right. And it's very, very reasonably priced. I think it's like $25 or $29. And you sit down with me and you have my full attention on your business. And you are not going to get that kind of pricing on coaching anywhere else, because my normal price for financial coaching is $300 an hour. All right. So take advantage of the special business pricing and the special business package that we have for you, and get your business reviewed. Sit down and talk with me about how you can create a business. You know, this person that was wondering about franchise versus a regular business. We sat down, and y'all, by the time we finished that call, her energy had changed. She was so bright and excited about this thing that she really was passionate about doing. I walked her through some of the steps and some of the things that she would need to do to start putting it into action. And y'all, it is a night and day difference. And that's the kind of thing that I want to help you do. Because if you're like, well, you know what, I heard Starbucks was really good. This is the new version of Starbucks. I'm going to buy into this new version. Let's call it what can we call it today? We can call it Green Cup. I'm gonna buy into this new Green Cup franchise because Starbucks is so successful, but I don't have money to buy a Starbucks, and we don't have enough traffic in my neighborhood to put in a Starbucks. But I can put in a Green Cup. I'm gonna put in Green Cup coffee, y'all. That sounds good, doesn't it? We can do something with that. I'm gonna buy me in a Green Cup franchise because they're only $25,000, and I can put it on credit, and I'm gonna make $1 million my first year, y'all. Please. Very few people ever do that. So before you drop your $25,000 on Green Cup Coffee or any other franchise, and before you decide that you're going to go into debt over something like this, which I please don't go into debt if you don't have to. Here's what I'm going to recommend you do. Go work either at that franchise in another market, or your market if it's big enough and it won't be too awkward, or a competitor for 3 to 6 months, and see if you really want to do it. Because you might go work at a Starbucks and realize Green Cup Coffee, owning a coffee shop is not your thing. Now, I had a friend who had a coffee shop. She ended up having to close it down because the landlord kind of sold the property out from under them. And I watched everything they went through. I had always wanted to have a coffee shop, and I loved the way they did their coffee shop. They had a very unique way they had very unique setup, and then they also had event space, and that's something I've always wanted. After watching everything that they went through, because I wrote 2 books in their coffee shop, I was like, I am not going to run a coffee shop, but I will have the space and sublet to somebody who runs a coffee shop. I'm not going through all that headache. Now the creativity part of it and coming up with the new drinks and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's fun. That's energetic for me. I'm a creative person. I like those things. But the day-to-day business of running a coffee shop and dealing with people that want 1 cup and they're going to nurse it for 8 hours while they take up your table, not the kid. Nope. Not my personality. All right. So I would encourage you, if you're looking at doing a janitorial one, I would encourage you to work with that franchise in another market or someplace so you can get a hands-on understanding of what works and what doesn't work. And then if you have the ability, go take some time with a competitor that you know is doing very well. Not necessarily a competitor in that franchise brand, but if you work with the franchise for 3 months and you're like, okay, I like this franchise, go find somebody like my former mentor who used to have a multi-million-dollar cleaning business and then learn what they did. If you want to open up a boutique, and I love boutiques. I still have Precious and Pleasant Boutique. It's still operating. If you really like owning up a little cutesy shop and with all the little cute stuff and the cute clothes and all the little, little decorative things and all that stuff, great. Go work at one, or even intern. If they won't hire you, just say, look, I need to intern. I'm trying to change careers. I'll give you, 2 hours free a day, or an hour free a day, or one whole day free a week, or something. Do your market research. Consider it part of your market research. Okay, to make sure that this is really what you want to do. Okay, now let's go back to the business side of it, because I had up the $100 startup. Where'd I put that? I had up the $100 startup. And one of the things that I like about this book is it encourages you to test the market. Now, I realize I said I was just going to hit the waves top, but I've actually been speaking so long. I think we'll make a whole new episode out of this just for the franchise versus full business. So if you're listening to me and hearing my voice talking about this as part of the Building Wealth Together podcast, I encourage you to join us Thursday nights, 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. And we talk about all kinds of things related to your money. All right. But when it comes to, when it comes to starting something up, I'm a huge fan of testing the market. Now, I don't believe in lying to people. Okay. So I'm not going to encourage you to lie to people, but I am going to encourage you to test the market. And so what do I mean by test the market? Well, don't say you've got a big storefront and a big studio and a big building when you don't have any of that. Okay. Don't do that. But if you feel like you want to sell hair bows and you make some beautiful hair bows, put one or two out and see if people would like custom orders. If you know that there was somebody who, she made pralines. Oh my goodness, they were the best, y'all. They were the best. And I mean, I've been in other places where they had some that were even more expensive than hers, but that nothing compares, right? And so maybe you just test the market. You put it out there. You put a Facebook. You go out to squareup.com. I think is, the little squares that you used to plug into your phone, and now it's all wireless. You plug the little square that you used to plug in. I think the company is squareup.com. You can create a free storefront. You can use them as your processor. Your processor for the credit cards and the online sales. You don't have to pay anything until they charge your client's card. And you can put it out there. You want to offer coaching. You want to offer instruction. You can do all of that stuff for free. Say, well, JJ, how on earth can I offer courses for free? I don't have money for a Teachable or a Kajabi or a Thinkific or any of those platforms. And the free one only lets me have one student or two students. I'm going to show you right now how you can create all of that for free. Okay. First of all, we have these amazing little devices that have the best cameras in them right now. My new phone, we got an iPhone. This is not an iPhone, but I got a new iPhone that my husband bought me about 6 months ago. And y'all, when I get the phone to act right, because me and iPhone still aren't getting along very well. But when I get the phone to act right, I am amazed at the quality of the pictures and the video footage that it takes. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through a quick and easy plan how you can offer your first course without spending any money and just test the market. Okay. So this is the course. This is test the course market. Okay. And so, 1, create content on your cell phone. Well, I don't know if people would really like to hear what I have to say. Think about the things they're always asking you to do for free, and then record a couple minutes on each one of those topics. So come up with 5 or 6 topics and create that content. All right. You create that content on the cell phone. That's free. If you've got a cell phone. Now, if you don't have a cell phone, you're going to have to figure that out. But you already paid for the cell phone. The cell phone is not free, but creating content on the cell phone, you already done paid for, because you got to have your Netflix that's free. Okay. It doesn't cost you anything extra than what you've already paid. Upload it to YouTube or Vimeo. Now, I like Vimeo more than YouTube for courses because it gives me better analytics, and because my courses aren't usually public, I like the better analytics, and I like the ability to upload a new version later if I find that I made some mistakes. Okay. I don't ever want you to wait for something to be perfect. In fact, I'm going to write that down. Don't worry if it's not perfect. I make more money being imperfect than I ever made when I was working so hard to make you think I was perfect. And we all know that's a lie. Okay? This is so easy, y'all. It's not easy because there's a lot of personal stress that goes along with doing this. But I'm telling you, this is free. Okay, you're gonna upload your comment to YouTube or Vimeo. Vimeo does have a free account. I like YouTube for public stuff. I like YouTube for public stuff that people are gonna forward and share and all of that and comment on. I like YouTube for that because YouTube's the best for that. But I like Vimeo for my courses. But I don't know how many they'll let you do before they say, oh, you gotta pay. All right. So you upload that. Now, here's the trick. All right. Unlisted. You don't want it to be available for free. You make it unlisted. All right. Now, you go into your Word document and you create content for each one of those videos. Okay. You say, well, what am I going to do with that? You're basically going to create an email. So in this case, we're going to do a mini course. How about that? We'll do a mini course. Let me write mini course. A mini course. A mini course is something that's real quick. A mini course is something that's real quick. People can consume it very quickly. It's not overwhelming. It's not a 12-month mentorship program that scares people away. It's just a little mini course. A little mini course. You can sell it for $4, $9. I like $9 because it's not quite 10, right? It's in the single digits. It's just a little mini course. And you might even do it for free just to test the waters. But let's just say for this purpose of this video, you made this video and you've got 1, 2, 3 videos. Okay. You got 3 videos. You got 3 videos that you filmed on your cell phone. How much did that cost? Ain't cost you anything yet. All right. You uploaded it to YouTube or Vimeo. Both of them allow you to upload a video and make it unlisted. That means everybody and their brother can't see it. Only people with the link see it. Now you're going to go into your Word document or some other text editor. You're going to create announcement emails. In this case, we have 3 videos. So we've got 1 vid, 1 announcement. Okay. And then we have a 3rd video. All right. So I'm going into my Word document and I'm drafting that. And I'm drafting that email. Hey, so-and-so, I hope for the first one, let's just say, hey, so-and-so, welcome to such and such class. I'm so excited you took the leap of faith and invested in yourself and joined my mini course. Here's the first video. I hope you love it as much as I do. Please write me back and let me know. Now, you could also attach a little workbook to it. You can use any of the AI things out there, or you can just simply run it through a text to talk to text, and you can get like Otter or some of those other things, and you can basically get it transcribed for you. Okay, so you're going to create your announcement emails. All right. This is free. Okay. This is free. And you can go to MailChimp and you can get a free thing. But just in case you don't want to do that, you can just do this with your own email. You already paid for your own email. You're not going to have a whole lot of students anyway. And when you do have enough students to worry about tripping spam, well, by then you're going to want to pay for it. But MailChimp is like free for up to like 500 people, I think. I think it's free for the first 500 subscribers, right? And so you create these announcement emails. And then the second one might say, hey, so-and-so, I hope you liked the first video. What was your great takeaway? Let me know how you're doing. You know, one of the things that I find is blah, blah, blah. And one of the things that people tell me is blah, blah, blah. Well, I hope that you are ready for the second video. Here, I'm going to show you blah, blah, blah. That's all you do. Create all three of those. And in your third and last one, or whatever it is, 5, 7, 3, whatever it is that you like, in your third and last one, now you invite them to invest at a higher level. Okay. So you go from free. And in your last one, you might do a $9 product. Maybe this is a little bit longer course where you're going to deep dive, okay? Maybe you're going to coach for them, all right? Then you maybe go into a $29, okay? And you figure out what your market needs, but you walk them up a value ladder by giving, and then ask, giving, and then ask, giving, and then ask. Now, if you're listening to me as part of the YouTube, as part of the Building Wealth Together podcast, you might want to go to YouTube and watch this last part, because we're still testing the market mini course. My handwriting is bad. I'm sorry, y'all. So we're still testing the market with the mini course. Okay. We've got 3 videos for our mini course that we just filmed on our phone for free. Okay. And look, even if you're like, well, I can't afford a tripod, and I can't afford a good speaker. You know what, y'all, that $5 Premier earbuds from Walmart, they work really well. Okay. When I'm traveling, that's how I film that's how I record my podcasts. All right. And it's not as clear as an ATR 2100 mic, but it's pretty good. And I'd rather get it done pretty good than not have it done at all. And trust me, I've done that before. I've had a break in my podcast because I was traveling so much, I couldn't get anything done to my level of excellence. And after a while, I was like, you know what? It's better to get it done than to get it done perfect. All right. So I'm going to do this real quick. It's telling me I'm losing battery because I did not bring my plug in here. I'm going to show you guys this real quick, okay? So our mini course, we're testing the market. We got 3 videos, okay? We're testing the market with a mini course. I'm going to show you something. This is going to be so cool, y'all. So we take the video. We made the video on our phone for free. We run it into Otter. And now we get a transcript. Otter has a free account. Guess what? We can do that for free. Then we can take that transcript. We can edit it, because anything that's free is going to need a little bit of editing. So we edit that into an ebook. How much does this cost us? It's free 99, y'all. It doesn't cost us a thing to make this ebook. Now, from this transcript, we can also create a workbook. We can go look at the high points of what we said. And now we've got a workbook. See that? We got a workbook. Okay. We can also take the transcript and we can create a press release. Now, don't ask me about how to get that out. Okay. There's different ways to get those out, and some of them cost more than others, but you can create a little press release, even if it's just on your website, y'all, even if it's just published to your Facebook page, which doesn't cost you anything. It still helps elevate your business, right? It helps you test the market, right? So now you do this. Okay. Now you've got the video, you've got the transcript, you've created all these products from the transcript. Okay. Now that's one arm. Let me do that here, that arrow, that's one arm. Okay, that's one arm. That's the written arm. Okay, now we're going to go into the video arm. Now, the video you just recorded is probably short, but it's probably like 5 or 7 minutes or so. You're going to go into that video and you're going to break it down into YouTube/TikTok shorts. Okay? And that could be YouTube, that can be TikTok, that can be Facebook now, that could be Threads, that could be any of the other ones. Okay, so that's another avenue. Now, boy, that handwriting's bad. You're creating shorts. So you're taking your 5-minute free video and you're using free video editing software, which is embedded in most of our computers, or you can download on your phone, and you can create shorts. 30 to 60-second shorts. If I have a 5-minute video and I had at least 3 good points in that video, that's 3 30 to 60-minute shorts, 30 to 60-second shorts I've got. Now, if you recorded it like this so it looks good on the computer, or on most of our movie style devices, and you want to make it for TikTok and Instagram and stuff, which does it this way, well, the editing software can crop it, and at the bottom, guess what you can do? You can add the subtitles or the key main points. Well, I don't have time to create subtitles. You don't have to. You already got a transcript. Do you see how lovely this is? Okay, so that's now the video end of it. Now we're going to go audio, y'all. We're going to go audio. Okay, and we're going to take that video. We're going to extract the audio. Now you have a podcast. You say, well, it's not really much of a podcast. It's only 5 minutes. Well, okay. Well, maybe that's a commercial. Okay. Maybe that's you overlay that with some pretty footage that you get free on Pixabay. And now you have another version of a short that's not just you talking, but it's now you saying your thing over some pretty footage. And guess what can happen with that? You can distribute that to other people to put in their content and in their podcasts and things like that. So now you got all of this from just one of those 3 videos in your mini course. And guess what, y'all? When you finish
Oh, hey everybody. I hope y'all can hear me and see me okay. I can't believe that happened. I thought I could get it all in before the computer died, but I just want to finish the thought, okay? I just want to finish this thought. So what I was explaining was you took one of your 3 videos in our hypothetical mini course and you created all these products off of that video, okay? You do that for all however many in the course that you create, and now you instantly have an online course. Now you have chapters for a real no kidding book that you can publish again for free on Amazon. And the way you get the course out until you can afford to buy course platform is you go into MailChimp or your own email provider, and no kidding, cut and paste the information that you had um that you developed when you created the email sequence, the announcement emails. You simply up and you just send it. And now you might have to put a reminder in your phone. Hey, make sure that I actually do this every week, that I send them the next video. But that's all you have to do to test the market. And then you make sure you have a value ladder or that walks them up from free all the way up to the ultimate price that you want to pay. You make sure you have that value ladder and you walk it up and you find out what they're going to do. Now, in some markets, you might find that people are like really willing to pay all kinds of money for what it is you want to do. When I started building wealth together from being a not nonprofit but a free financial coaching to paid financial coaching, one of the things that I quickly discovered was that in the market where I was, you could basically ramp up your fees. I ramped up my fees very quickly. My very first one was $29 for a free financial tune-up. And y'all, by the time I finished that financial tune-up, I had done so much analysis. I had poured into that client that I was basically working for less than minimum wage. And you know, we didn't start these businesses to make less than minimum wage. And so once I realized that, I 29 to 49, from 49 to 79, from 79 to 99, 99 to 129, to 149, to 199, to 249. I think that's about where the sweet spot was. But when the military moved me to Louisiana, that wasn't the sweet spot anymore. People in that part of Louisiana, they were not paying 199, 249 for somebody they didn't know, who they didn't know their kin, they didn't know their who they were, were their people, who they were from. They didn't know those kinds of things. They weren't paying that kind of money. So I ended up having to drop my prices way down to get a foothold in that community. Okay. That I've just given you, you can do all of this for free and you can test the market. So now we did this testing the market. We did this with a video course, but maybe you want to open up a bakery. Well, you can post a couple of things that you make. You can post a couple of things that you make, and you can actually see if people want to special order them. Okay. And you call it special order, a luxury order, or customized order, so you can make more, right? And not just making more, but delivering more. Because I mean, come on, let's be real. If I can go to Walmart and buy, a pack of 10 cookies for $2, you're gonna have to set yourself apart. And one of the easiest, fastest ways in any kind of craft thing to set yourself apart is to go ahead and have some of those luxury and customized items. All right. But maybe you want to do wreaths. Maybe you want to do hair bows. Maybe you want to offer music lessons or something like that. You can leverage the power of social media to be able to do those things and test the market before you lay out a whole lot of money on infrastructure and tools for your business. I hope that's been helpful to you. As you can see, I am doing this on my cell phone right now, just to try to wrap up that thought. Don't be afraid to get out there and try something. You would be surprised at what people are needing from you that. And if you would like a little help on that, I don't have on my cell phone the ability to pull up that thing, but you can go to calendly.com/JJ Conway/JJBIZ, JJ Biz, and I'll sit down with you and we will brainstorm and we will come up your own business, join a franchise or a network marketing business that's perfect for you. Or if you already have an existing business, we can look at ways to streamline that business to make it have you help have better control over your time and your money, and to be able to utilize that business not to become another job that you wake up wishing you didn't have to go to, but to be a light and an encouragement and a blessing to your family and to your future strategic goals. That's all I've got for you today. I'm JJ Conway. Y'all take care and be blessed.